The Garden of Eden, just the name conjures images of a perfect world. For millennia, this story has captivated humanity, echoing through ancient texts and whispered around campfires. Is it just a myth, or could it be a real place lost to time? The idea of a vanished paradise has driven explorers and dreamers for centuries. Many have searched for it, scouring ancient maps and following cryptic clues. The Bible offers hints: a garden in Eden, 4 rivers, Pishon, Gihon, Tigris and Euphrates. Pishon, Gihon, Tigris, Euphrates. 2 of those rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, are real, flowing through modern-day Turkey, Syria and Iraq. This fact transforms the story from pure fantasy into a solvable mystery. The search for Eden is more than a hunt for a mythical garden. It's a quest for our origins. Imagine standing where the first humans walked. It's a powerful thought that keeps the legend alive. The possibility, however slim, that Eden existed is too exciting to ignore. So the question isn't just if Eden was real, but where it might be. The clues are scattered across ancient lands, buried under layers of history. All it takes is the right perspective, a bit of luck, and a whole lot of digging. The story of Eden dares us to look for the truth behind the world's oldest and most famous legend. And for some, that challenge is irresistible. Enter Dr. Arlen Hayes. Arlen isn't your typical archaeologist. He's a field man, happiest chasing legends in the dirt. He's tackled lost cities in the Amazon and pirate treasure in the Caribbean. For Arlen, myths often contain a kernel of truth, a memory passed down through generations. His obsession with Eden began in his youth, but as he studied ancient history, he saw patterns. Many cultures, from Sumerians to Greeks, had stories of a paradise lost. The Sumerian myth of Dilmun described a land without sickness or death. Arlen believed these weren't coincidences, but echoes of a real place. His unique take: Eden wasn't just a garden, but the world's first sacred site, a temple where humanity first connected with the divine. This theory set him apart from other academics who called him a sensationalist. But Arlen pressed on, convinced he was onto something big. He spent years raising funds, poring over satellite imagery, and studying ancient languages. His goal to prove Eden wasn't just a story, but the birthplace of civilization. For Arlen, finding Eden meant finding where we first asked the big questions. It was about uncovering the origins of the human spirit. The search for Eden became his life's work, and he was determined to follow the legend wherever it led. Arlen's journey began with the biblical 4 rivers. The Tigris and Euphrates were easy to find, but Pishon and Gihon were mysteries. Scholars debated their locations, some pointed to Africa, others to Arabia. Arlen had a different idea: the names had been misinterpreted. He believed Pishon and Gihon were ancient tributaries of the Tigris and Euphrates, now lost. Using satellite imagery, he identified 2 possible candidates in eastern Turkey. This rugged, mountainous region became his focus. The terrain was unforgiving, and political instability made the search even harder. Arlen hired local guides and listened to villagers' stories of ancient ruins and sacred places. These local legends, often dismissed as superstition, became valuable clues. He believed they were echoes of a distant past, memories of a time when this land was the center of the world. Days of fruitless searching tested his resolve. But Arlen pressed on, convinced he was in the right place. He was following a trail of whispers, guided by myth and modern technology. The search for Eden was becoming real. Arlen and his team pushed deeper into the mountains of eastern Turkey, a land layered with history. This region, once part of ancient Armenia, was a crossroads of empires. If Eden was here, it would be buried under centuries of civilization. The challenges mounted: snowstorms, broken equipment, and suspicious locals. One night, an old man told Arlen a legend of a sacred mountain spared by a great flood. The story echoed the biblical flood and hinted at a powerful ancient place. The next day, Arlen's team set out for the mountain. The climb was grueling. They abandoned vehicles and trekked on foot. Along the path, they found carved stones with strange symbols, clearly man-made and ancient. This was the first tangible evidence. The mountain had been important for millennia. As they climbed, the number of carved stones increased, arranged in deliberate patterns. The air was thick with anticipation. Arlen felt a surge of adrenaline. He was no longer just chasing a myth. He was following a trail left by an unknown people. The summit promised answers. The legend was leading him somewhere real. Every step brought him closer to the truth. The search for Eden was now a search for the people who built these stones, and Arlen was determined to find out who they were. The carved stones led Arlen to Lake Van, Turkey's largest lake. Local legends spoke of a city hidden beneath its waves. Recent drops in water level revealed hints of something ancient. Arlen hired a dive team and used sonar to scan the lake bed. At first, nothing, just rock and sediment. Then, a sonar anomaly, straight lines and right angles. Divers discovered the walls of a massive 3,000-year-old fortress, perfectly preserved. It belonged to the Urartian civilization. While not Eden, it proved local legends could be true. The sunken fortress was a turning point, reinforcing Arlen's belief in the value of myth. Myths, he realized, are oral records of real events. If a sunken city was real, why not a sacred garden? The discovery energized his team and drew international attention. Now, Arlen's search focused on the mysterious Urartians. Arlen's research into the Urartians led him to a small museum near Lake Van. The curator, Keenan, showed him a forgotten stone tablet found decades ago by a farmer. The tablet was much older than anything Urartian. It depicted a lush garden, animals, 2 stylized trees, and a walled enclosure with a guarded entrance. It was a clear depiction of the Eden narrative long before the Bible. The symbols were pictograms, telling a story without words. This was the physical evidence Arlen had been searching for. The tablet suggested the Eden myth was far older and more widespread than anyone thought. The location where it was found, a hill north of Lake Van, became Arlen's new destination. The stone was his map. He felt on the verge of a breakthrough. The forgotten hill was now the most important place in his quest. Arlen was closer than ever to uncovering the truth. The legend was about to become history. The hill where the tablet was found was near Göbekli Tepe, a site that rewrote history. Built 11,600 years ago, Göbekli Tepe is the world's oldest known temple complex. It predates Stonehenge and the pyramids by thousands of years. Built by hunter-gatherers, it was a sacred gathering place, not a settlement. The site is covered in animal carvings, just like the tablet. Arlen saw the connection. Could this be the real inspiration for Eden? The timeline fit. Göbekli Tepe was built at the end of the last ice age, when the world was becoming fertile. Standing among the pillars, Arlen realized Eden wasn't a literal garden, but a memory of this sacred place. The paradise of harmony with animals was about the symbolism carved in stone. The fall was the shift from hunter-gatherer life to agriculture. Eden wasn't lost, it was deliberately left behind. The myth was a memory of a real place and a real transformation. Arlen's theory was taking shape. Arlen needed one more piece to tie his theory together. The Bible describes Eden as a lush, fertile garden, but Göbekli Tepe is now arid. He turned to paleoclimatology, analyzing ancient soil and pollen. The results were astonishing. 12,000 years ago, the region was a paradise. Forests, wild grains, and abundant game. This was the real garden ancient people knew. The climate data provided the missing context. Göbekli Tepe was built in the heart of a true paradise. The people had so much abundance they could build a temple. The carvings celebrated the natural world that sustained them. The Eden story was a memory of this time and place. The expulsion was the climate changing, and the shift to agriculture. Arlen hadn't found a magical garden but something more profound. He found the archaeological reality behind the myth. Eden was a combination of a fertile landscape and the world's first temple. It marked the moment we began to build, create, and ask bigger questions. The quest for Eden ended with a new understanding of our origins. Did Arlen Hayes find the Garden of Eden? In a way, yes. He didn't find a magical paradise or a tree of life. The literal Eden likely never existed. But Arlen found the source of the legend, a memory of a time of abundance before agriculture. The garden was the fertile landscape of ancient Anatolia, and the sacred space was Göbekli Tepe. He revealed that our oldest stories are echoes of real events, encoded in myth. The search for Eden became a search for the moment we became truly human. Arlen's quest changed him, and our understanding of civilization's beginnings. The true garden isn't a place on a map, it's the spark of curiosity and creativity within us all. That is the paradise we carry, the one never truly lost.